Hi, everybody. Recruiting Animal here on December 13th. Anyway, everybody, I wanted to tell you that, even when he's not here, we're always complimenting Rich. And, so he sends me a message. I can't get to the show. Your link doesn't work. Yeah. Well, I said, I got here. Okay. So the genius. Okay. Well, I want to say the genius is not always so smart, but he's smart with the stuff that counts. I'm smart with the stuff that doesn't count. Okay. He blamed it on me anyway. He said, something you did must have screwed this up. No.
Spending too much time with you has caused this issue.
That's what he said. You haven't been here for a few weeks. Don't blame that on me.
Okay? It's been busy. It's been busy. Everyone's trying to get deals to the end of the year.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, here's something else. Okay. Well, I'll start with, I think I got a couple of questions that are meant for you, but here's one. The guy says, when I was a candidate, this is a recruiter. When I was a candidate, once I interviewed with a company and got my own firsthand knowledge, I made up my own opinion. Okay. And there was nothing, and I mean nothing, the recruiter could say that would convince me to take the job. I would never trust the direction of someone who's on commission over my own instincts and first-hand knowledge. What do you say in response to that, super recruiter?
He sounds like a charming candidate to work with, number one.
Why? Why do you say that?
Because he doesn't respect your job. He doesn't respect what you're doing. You're just a piece of meat to him. You got him the job and now you're dead. He doesn't care.
What do you mean?
Well, he's not a great candidate. Because listen, we never have as much as control as we think we have anyway. But, a guy like that who clearly doesn't care what you say or do, I bet you that candidate also started that conversation off with the recruiter by, who's the company? How much is the pay? And gets like, that's all he wants to know. I'll make my own decision. I'll get back to you. Guarantee that's how that whole conversation started.
Okay. If your candidate actually said that, thanks, Rich, for sending me out. I'll think about it and I'll get back to you in a couple of days. What would you say?
Well, it depends. If he's just saying that after an interview, that's one thing. If he's just saying it like, hey, thanks for the company name, I'll tell you,
No, not that he's trying to cheat you. Okay. He's not trying to cheat you, Richie Rich. Okay. He's just saying, I'm going to make up my own mind. So he's shutting you out at that point, right? You're saying that's bad.
Well, listen, I'm saying it's not ideal. There's so much gray area in that and how they present it. If the guy is just belligerent, it's like, F you, I don't care what you have to say. On the first conversation, what are you trying to talk to God? What are we doing here? Looking for a Hanukkah miracle. Yeah, no, but I mean, there's so much gray area in what you're asking. What's the stage? Is this guy giving you any information at all? Is he just like, F you, I don't want to give you any feedback and tell you anything? I mean, depending on the search and who else you got in the process, you may not want to push that candidate forward. So if you've got other good people, why risk it on a guy?
You're going way off. The guy says, I'm going to think about it. The issue here
is, you can think about it.
You want to talk to him?
Yeah. I mean, the issue is he doesn't want to give you any information, doesn't want to give you any feedback, doesn't care at all what you have to say. He's not a great candidate.
No. Let me corner you, okay? So he doesn't want to be debriefed. That wasn't really what I was suggesting. Okay, he'll tell you what he thought about it, but then he's going to make up his own mind. What questions do you want to ask him after the interview that you were thinking he didn't want to be asked when I posed it before? That was my fault, everybody. Okay, I accept responsibility for posing that question poorly. And if I was doing it in it,
you rewind this, you changed the question. But listen, what he's going to, it's just a normal conversation of, hey, what they ask, what do you think, what are your thoughts on the job, blah blah blah. So you can prep the next guy, can't technically, but you also want to know, what's this guy's interest level? Is he really interested? Is he not interested? What does he have to think about? What is there, what's concerns does he have? And why, would or wouldn't he take this job as compared to all the other jobs? All the stuff you got to ask after every conversation. But thinking for himself is great. They're all going to do that anyway. But it's not what you said. If having no input from me, it's his prerogative or their prerogative, but it's not going to be a top candidate for me. If I've got 3 guys in and this guy's pissing and doesn't want to give me any information, doesn't care about what I have to say, and the other guys are as good or better, well, that's who you're going to push, right?
Okay. If he says, Rich, you know what? There's some things I like, some things I don't, I'll tell you what they are, but then leave me alone for a couple of days. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, it is. That's totally fine. It's their prerogative. I mean, you don't want to, you shouldn't have to sweet talk someone into the job, but our job is a sales job. And if, you do want to try to persuade them to to taking the role, if they are the right fit, but no, all these guys are going to make their own decision. Some take more guidance than others.
All right. Yeah, okay. That was an opportunity. Hi, David M Marr. That was an opportunity for great wisdom. Okay, and I blew it. I blew it so bad in the final show of the year. I wanted because it's important to see. It's important to know how you debrief a candidate and then handle his or her objections. Am I right about that? Is that fair?
Yes.
Oh, so Rich, let me switch gears, or Donna, or even David M Marr in heaven. Okay, has there ever been a situation where someone got back to you and they said, here's the debrief. These are the negatives, and you turn the person around. Rich first.
100%. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I just did this a month ago with a candidate who was going to take a different job. It was a more stable company, bigger company. You walk him through what he was looking for at the beginning. Your discovery call at the first call when you brief screen the candidate is so important. So you find all those reasons why they actually want to make a move, so you can then use them when they're on the fence about an opportunity. Here's all the things you told me you were looking for. What are you going to get with this other opportunity? This opportunity is going to give you that.
And can you be specific about this one? Can you tell us exactly what the person, why they preferred company A and how you sold them on company B instead?
Yeah, I mean, because company A was a bigger, more established company. Company B was a Series A startup, which, eventually he was looking for when we first talked, the growth potential. He was looking for the ability to have a bigger territory, looking for the ability to grow within an organization, the equity play, all those things, and just more freedom and just enjoy the leadership. This other company was a horrible company. I mean, honestly, it was very micromanaged, very set in its ways. You're gonna have a smaller territory. It's just old and stodgy. It was the complete opposite. Like, I mean, as I even said to him, like, I can't even believe you're talking to both these companies because they're two completely different ends of the spectrum. One of these is completely wrong.
How did you know about the other company that wasn't your client? And B, didn't that put some doubts in your mind about the brains this candidate had? If he or she was so stupid as to wanted one thing and was going to take a job with a company that was you knew was lousy, I would worry about that candidate.
Well, again, not every client's an A client. B and C clients need B and C candidates. And this was a B or C candidate for a B and C company.
Okay, so how did you know about that other company? You had such intimate knowledge that they were micromanaged, they were
because I know the industry. You know what the ironic thing was? That company called me the week later about a different search in another part of the country.
Really?
I turned it down because it's such a horrible company. But
how did you turn it down? My plate's full right now. I can't help you. Or what'd you say?
No, I just said my fee's like 35%. And they're like, "Well, that's too much." I'm like, "Oh, that's all I can do."
Okay, so, you didn't say you suck. You told me.
No, I said, I mean, with the reputation you guys have, I mean, I couldn't possibly do it for less than this. It's gonna be a tough search.
Really? Look, Donna, I actually got him to give some information there.
You did a good job. I was proud of you. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good. You're learning, Animal. You're learning.
Yes, he told them to their face. Your company. Well, geez, if you want me to bring in people to you, I'm going to have to dig extra.
I mean, I knew the hiring manager. I've known him from the past, and he's a great guy. But I'm like, this is they're just setting people up for failure anyway. You go in and year one, you'd make a lot of money potentially, and then they were just going to screw all the reps.
How can you tell us when your company is setting people up for failure? Everything about it is rotten. And still you say he's a nice guy and you're on good terms? I don't understand that.
Well, because people don't mind honesty if they know it's the truth.
They don't.
Animal, would you rather me say, "Oh my God, I love that hat. It makes your hair look so good"? I mean, or would you say,
Wow.
"Hey, listen, I mean, that's quite the hat." You know?
I love honesty, but I'm not an average guy. I'm going to say, okay. So there was a question we haven't even got. I wanted to see what the others had to do, but somebody said, "Look, the reason recruiters ghost candidates who've already been out to an interview or refuse to give feedback is every recruiter has been burned by a candidate when they give them raw feedback on how they can improve when they struck out." Okay, so being honest is not always good. People don't like honesty, rich, smart ass. Okay.
Well, listen, good candidates like feedback. Even if it's, I mean, it doesn't mean you have to be a jerk about the feedback, but you can give it in a constructive way to help them for the next interview, with you or without you.
Okay.
And if they don't appreciate, I mean, no, listen, if they don't appreciate it, then they're not good candidates. Like I have one client right now. It's a very good client, very good company, and they purposely give people feedback to see how they take it, and just to see if they're going to get all blown up and bent out of shape.
What kind of feedback? We don't like you. There's something wrong with you, and I don't know if you're right.
It's not obnoxious, like, subjective feedback. Like, I don't like your clothes. Like, how could you wear those shoes? Oh my God. It's, hey, listen, you could have done this better on a presentation. You could have done deeper on this, this quite line of questioning. You didn't get the information out that we were hoping you're going to get out. On the sales calls, you're really going to do that. And you see how the guy reacts.
Okay. Let's switch to Ms. Donna. Okay. Donna.
Yeah.
Tom's here. Tom, say everything twice.
Listen, Tommy, I'm going to ask the question again of Donna. Okay.
Donna.
Okay.
Candidate goes out and then you debrief that candidate and she says, "Donna, I'm going with company A, not your company B, because these are the negatives." Have you ever, in your short career, not that short, have you ever
getting longer?
Have you ever turned anybody around?
Yeah, just recently. They were going to stay with their company. They weren't going to another company, but they're coming over.
There you go. For you.
How did you do it? Give us the rich. We had to dig it out of them like a dentist pulling teeth, but we got it right.
It's the same thing though. It's because of what that candidate wanted, and it's reminding them of what they wanted that they weren't going to get where they were staying. And I also talked our people into sweetening the pot a little bit. So I was able to raise what we were able to offer and remind the person why they wanted to leave. So
how did you get your company to sweeten the pot? Now you're inside now, but we should mention that.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
Just by saying you're going to lose her. This is what it takes. This is what this person wants. This is what we can do. Here's our salary band. How are you willing to go? What can we do as sign-on bonus? And just make them think it through. Make them think, how much do they want this candidate? If they want her, then they need to pay for her within our internal equity, system.
Donna, more importantly, are we added a software company by chance that we're doing internal?
What, for me? No.
Bummer. No, never mind.
No, sorry.
That'll be an easy BD call.
Sorry.
All right. Next time.
Yeah. Next time.
Well, you know that song, "What a Girl Wants, What a Girl Needs"? You should sing that. Okay. Who sang that song? "What a Girl Wants"? Do you know it?
Sure. No.
Donna's a good singer, although she sounds a bit hoarse today. You got that Macy Gray touch. Okay.
I have allergies.
Too bad. David M Marr, you want to get in on this, or you stay out there in the netherworld?
Ether.
No, basically, in my experience, on the agency side, you can be more direct with feedback. On the corporate side, you have to be more high level because there's a lot of worry or concern about potential lawsuits, so they don't want to set themselves up for that.
It's the same on the outside too. It's just you guys have HR you got to worry about. We generally don't, but it's
correct. Like in your case, you're your own boss and Tom's your own boss. So what are you gonna do? Slap yourself on the hand?
Yeah. Seriously, Tom's getting a little cheese for that, I guess. The outside you get a little bit more flexibility, but I mean the inside they just don't do it because they don't want the managers getting called by the candidate saying, "Hey, I can't believe you didn't like me because of this." I mean, that's really what it comes down to more often than not. I find which is too bad because you get a couple of bad candidates that screwed up for everyone else. It's like everything else in the world. It's the loud minority that makes it difficult.
Okay, hold on. What does the high level mean, David M. Marr? Look, you have to ask everybody. They never tell you. They're always general. When you had a high level answer, okay? We don't want high level answers on this show. What does high level feedback mean?
It means you're talking. Okay, when you read a book, right, or go to the library, you look under a topic.
It means we just said we went in a different direction, is what it means. That's all.
It's more high level answer. It's not so specific where
Give
you're
us
hitting
one example, okay?
Okay.
You know it all.
The hiring manager decided to go in a different direction.
You mean, in other words, no feedback? That's a Michael G. Cox answer. Somebody else came closer.
Well, I've even recently, and it's true, been able to tell somebody we hired someone who had experience that was more directly aligned, who can hit the ground running, doing exactly what they've done in the past here with us. Whereas it's going to take a little more runway, with the experiences that you've had. So, I mean,
how about this? You can't handle the truth, okay? So I don't give it. That's my policy, everybody, okay?
That's another tactic.
But that is the truth, okay? They can't handle the truth. Okay. He says good candidates can handle the truth. David M. Marr says, no, we're not taking chances. What does Donna say? Did you say that you give direct feedback?
I think it's the middle. It's not necessarily about them specifically, but maybe about the choice that we made and why we made that choice. Because you do have to be careful.
No. If you give why you made the choice, they'll start debating with you.
Yeah.
And then when you're not an expert in that field, you can't. You usually, if they're a pro, you can't fight with them in the nitty gritty. You can't get in the weeds.
I think I better be able to, or I don't know who my best candidates are anyway.
Okay, let me go to Donna's question, okay? Because this is a really important one, okay? Donna last week, I had to tell she I don't know if you believe me when I said I talk about grooming. Palermo wrote. She said, I can't remember what we said exactly. Palermo Rhodes, I'm going to come back to you later, okay? She said, I can't. I told her that grooming is never. Everybody on our Facebook group says it's not an issue. Grooming's not an issue. So I got an article out of the New York Times, the paper of record, okay? It didn't come from my simple brain, okay? And the question was, is it ever bad to wear red lipstick? Okay.
I saw that. I was gonna call you out on that when you posted it. That was so funny.
Animals are always bad if you're wearing.
That was so funny.
It's just not.
That was for you, dear. With you in mind.
I agree with you.
I know.
Rich.
I almost called you like but I just watched instead and watched what people said.
50 comments, all hating me. Okay.
They did. It was wonderful. It was so
like
fun.
I am petty. I'm petty. Another one said it's racist because she says I have a dark complexion. She was Hispanic or something. She said if I put on lighter lipstick, it's going to be more bold. I said, didn't you see the picture? Even the title says AOC wears red lipstick as her signature brand. Okay, they come at me for anything when it's that stuff. Am I right or wrong?
Well, if AOC's into it, we all know it's quality.
She's very pretty. I like the way
she's a moron. Oh my God, she's an idiot.
Okay, that's another question. That's another issue.
That's an answer. That's not a question.
She presents herself very well. I think she looks great, and I want to know: is that an illegitimate question? Though, is it okay to wear red lipstick to an interview? Okay. Palermo Rhodes, are you in on this? Do you have
Okay, so red. Red is a huge spectrum of colors. I mean, my God.
We know what red is, okay?
I have very light, neutral colored lipstick on.
Like, to me, lips are red. My lips are red, right?
No.
They're not? What color are they?
That's not red.
What color? Pink? Is it pink?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, to me, red lipstick, is it bright red engine lipstick? I don't care.
Yeah, it's fire engine red. Nobody thinks, or it's a darker than that. And so nobody thinks it's an issue.
The rule of thumb is that anything AOC really says, you probably really don't need to listen to.
Well, she didn't say it. Vanessa Friedman, who is
not a member of Congress, and probably couldn't get elected.
She's a fashion columnist for New York Times who said it, right? And if you
That's
read
actually
through the article and then you read through the comments, you know, AOC wears it, I think, like someone said, is like, that's her signature, right? Look at
Yeah.
Taylor Swift. That's her
I
signature,
said it.
right? And if the red lipstick isn't like meant, like you walk into an interview and all they see is red lipstick, then maybe it's not appropriate. I don't know. But also, what job are you interviewing for too? I mean, it's just it's such a loaded question.
You know what? Somebody said, what about it's good enough for Taylor Swift? I said, what's Taylor Swift, an accountant? No.
I mean, I don't, you know, I guess it depends on the job, the interview, the location,
Let me
everything.
tell a little story here, okay? One of the commenters she said, I placed a ton of people with this company and they liked me so much they wanted to interview me to come internal, okay? And so she said, I had placed a friend of my husband's there and I called him up and, you know, do you have any advice for me about what I should do in the interview? He said, don't wear lipstick. She knew right away that was a red flag. And when she went in there, she said she decided that wasn't the company for her. But the point is, some companies, lipstick is an issue. Okay. So I don't want 50 people coming after me and saying it's dumb to even talk about it. Anybody?
You
with
know,
me?
it's not dumb to talk about. It's all about knowing who
Your
you
client.
are and where you want to work and what they're like and are you a good fit. And if you are a red lipstick person and you're going to a really boring, you know, just whatever, don't go there. You'll wear your lipstick somewhere else. I don't know. It just know who you're talking to.
It's as dumb as this conversation, to be honest with you.
Okay, yeah, okay. Well, I think it's a good conversation. Okay.
People get so mad. They did. They got so mad at you.
They did, yeah. Okay, here's another one.
That was
does
great.
anybody have does anyone have anything they want to bring up? Anybody? I'm
No.
open. I'm waiting. No? Okay. Here's the thing. Candidate accepts the offer. The start date is 4 weeks away.
Oh, I read that one. Yeah.
Should I stay in touch with the candidate?
Yes.
Definitely not. No, let him roll.
That was so dumb. I know.
I mean, you
That's
might as well
mean.
just tell me
I
a
should've
flaming
said
hate
so.
mail when you read it too. I mean,
Well, how should I stay in touch with a candidate? How
Oh my
often?
goodness.
nudes.
Anybody?
Definitely nudes. Send him some lipstick.
Nudes
Red
and
lipstick.
lipstick. Nudes and lipstick.
There's pictures of AOC and some red lipstick, and you're good.
Some grooming.
Yeah.
Make sure the grooming is
Again, one of those
involved.
things. It depends on the candidate, depends on the company, depends on the situation. But in
No,
general,
we
yeah,
we
stay in
had that
contact.
situation. I've got someone and it was over a month that I've been having to wait, but I will at least text her, you know, and just, hey, how's it going? You having a good week? Like whatever. Work if I can make it related to work, that's great. That's what I try for, but sometimes it's just checking in because it's a long wait.
Okay, so that's a phone call. Is that what you're saying?
Sometimes I do a lot of, it depends on the person. A lot of text.
So when you say you want to give them information about work, what's that? When it's not about work and you're just checking in, what is that? Okay, I just want to note that
for
David
me,
Marr
that's
stuck his neck out and said daily contact. Okay,
I don't do daily. I don't
Daily's
do daily, but
That's annoying.
like and I tried to spread it around. We kind of planned it out, like, you know, my HR manager was gonna do something, her manager was gonna do something. I would like, so we're sending different messages.
You
So
don't
it's
know
not
what you
one
want to
person.
say. You don't know what you want to say.
But Donna's right. Once a week is fine. A manager sends something, you send something. I mean, personally, it shouldn't be that long. The company should send, like, you know, gift card and flowers to the wife and the spouse and take them out, send them out for dinner, for Christ's sake. Because that's anything more than 2 weeks, you risk losing that candidate massively. Like,
It's scary.
40%.
We've been holding our breath. I know we've been holding.
But if the
So-
company sends out like a gift card, hey, go to dinner on us, we can't wait to have you here. It's like, you know, $200 is a lot less money than restarting a search.
Yep. All that's good.
Tommy. Now David M Marr, everybody. He says he was just joking. He just want to make a fool out of me. That's all. Okay. Tommy, do you have anything to say? 4 weeks.
I said, yeah, just it's case by case, but in general, yeah, stay in touch with them. I mean, anything longer than a week.
By a truck? You look like you're half awake today.
Yeah.
Usually he's full of energy. I look towards him to pep
He's
me
chilling.
up. You're bringing me down, okay? Okay, yeah, he's not even answering. You know something's wrong.
No, he does
You know
not.
something's wrong. Okay.
It was interesting. So far, that none of the questions have been that interesting. So there's no reason for me to explain it.
Oh,
what a
boom.
burn.
Lipstick either, huh? Jeez.
Okay. Well, here's a company. Okay.
No, now you got him on the spot, Tommy. You know.
No, no, I've got tons of questions. Okay, do recruiters ever ask candidates to lower their salary demands? Anybody? I got some
Yes.
answers for you.
Again, yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what you're thinking about. You're not worth 150 grand, no matter how much you think you
Mhm.
are.
You got 3 years of experience. You're not worth more than the VP.
Tell me a
Exactly.
story. Tell me a story, Tommy, when you told somebody, and it sounds like it's right at the start. You
Okay,
went to
fine.
the-
So,
Bailey's
okay, got a
story.
guy in Chicago, lives in a duplex, him and his wife and his kid. They had to buy a duplex so they could afford a house so they could rent the other side out. Guy's making $120,000 a year. He wants to move south. I get him a job in Georgia. He could buy a 4-bedroom house for cash when he sells his condo or his duplex in Chicago. He took $104,000 because I told him, you're not going to get paid 120 grand in the middle of nowhere, Georgia. You're going to have to lower your expectations, but you have to understand what the cost of living is going to do to you and your family. You're going to have a house, you're going to have a backyard, you're going to raise your kids in a great area, and you're going to make way more money because of the cost of living difference. He took the job.
Okay, that was geographically complex. Okay, you had an easy out there. You could use the fact the cost of living being lower in the boonies.
I didn't
Okay.
know there were parameters to that question, but okay.
Well, okay, no, it's an interesting answer. But what about if
But
the
wrong.
what if the person just doesn't want to move? They want 150, and you decide they're not worth it. Has anybody ever?
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a daily conversation with people, and
Yeah.
this is what you do as a recruiter. Otherwise, you're wasting your time.
Tell
You
me
know,
a story, Richie.
Tell your story, which it's not even a story; it's a daily conversation. The
Well,
candidate's like,
and you must have had it today or yesterday. Tell me what happened.
the candidate's gonna. You call the candidate up and say, "Listen, we got this job, and blah blah blah." It's the guy tells you, "Oh, that sounds great. All right, what do you need for salary?" And he gives you about the whole giant story. Oh, I need blah blah blah. I need $450,000 plus equity, plus this, plus that. I'm like, well, that's awesome. This pays 150, 300 OTE. He's like, oh, it's too low. I'm like, well, break down your plan for me, everything. And then they give you their story. And I'm like, so when's the last time you made the 450? What's your quota? What's everything? And he's be like, well, that's not the point. I'm like, well,
Yes, it is the point.
like mine's realistic, yours is unrealistic, and that's just one example. Then you get the kids that, like I said earlier, 3 years out of school, think they didn't want to be a VP next week, and they should make a $200,000 salary, jumping from 75 grand and a number they've never hit or quota they've never hit.
How much are you paying for benefits? My client pays 100% benefits. You're paying $500 a month, right? That's $6,000 right there. Why wouldn't you make a lateral move? You're making 80 and they pay you 80, you get a $6,000 bump just for that. I mean, you really have to look at the whole package, right? There's so many ways that you can skin this cat. So yes, we're always talking to candidates about why their expectations are unrealistic if they are.
But and also it comes down to the same thing. If people are just moving for money, they're not usually good candidates.
Yeah,
it's very
99% of the time, unless they're grossly underpaid.
Yep.
Well, you weren't
Or they
talking
have
about
other-
just moving for money. Money's always an issue,
No,
and if
but
there's
it's
other
issue.
issues,
No,
It
it's an
can't be
issue.
the
but
only
it's-
issue.
Yeah, it can't be their main issue. I'm only looking to make another $20,000 in income, or if they love their boss, they love their territory, they love their clients, they love whatever. They're not moving.
Why
They're gonna
is this
be-
job better than the one you have now, aside from money? You need to answer me that question. Why is this job better than the one you have now, and it can't be money?
okay. Something I before I forget. Luckily, I still held it on. Richie said something that troubled me. Okay, he said the guy says I want 450, and Rich said, hold on a second, let's lay everything out. You cold call somebody, and he's going to take the time to give you all that information
all the time.
after he.
Yeah. When's the last time you made a placement, animal?
Yeah.
I've never done it for anybody earning $450,000. I'll tell you right now. Okay.
Salespeople are good about that.
It's
I
not
think.
that much to unpack. Okay.
Well, there is, because you have equity. Because a lot of guys, they want to claim their equity as part of their income. They want to claim their vacation time. They want to claim their health benefits. If there's car benefits, if there's this is that. I mean, I've got guys that will whittle it down to their stupid expense account. And it's like, dude, no, what is your freaking salary? Like when I ask what your income is, and the guy goes, I stopped them. Now I just literally I'm like, no. What is your base salary today? What's your on target? What's your quota? That's it. That's all I need to know. I don't need the story behind it. I don't need you to tell me what the comp should be. I'm like, I've been doing this for 1,000 years. I asked a simple question. Every time they dance around it, they're full of crap.
Yep. well, see, there's this thing here. Then if I do that, like, no.
No, we got
How much did you make? What did you make last year? What do you want? What are you on plan to make this year?
Yeah.
And not what what you think you can make, not the top. What have you made consistently the last 3 years?
My favorite answers are like, well, my buddy says everyone in his company's making 500 grand. I'm like, well, your buddy's a fucking liar. I'm like, it's very simple.
Those words, Richie Rich.
100% those words.
Okay, half-assed.
100%.
Your buddy's a fucking liar.
Yeah.
The company you're thinking of going to is shit. Okay, you tell them, you dish it out like that. Okay, because I'm not sure if that's true.
Yeah, I guarantee those two stories 100% true. There's certain companies you just know a lot about. Being in the space. That's why you should be a niche recruiter, not a generalist. If you're a generalist, you don't know. If you spend 30 years calling on these companies, you know what's the good and the bad. And
there's a company. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go finish. Go ahead.
There's a company called Metal Sales. If anybody is in metal sales more than 5 years, I call them because I'm like, I wanted to congratulate you. You've lasted more than any person I've ever seen. And it gets me into a conversation to tell them how horrible metal sales is. And next thing you know, I got them a job elsewhere. Like, these companies, you've heard all the bad stories. You've heard the truth, the good, bad. So you can say, no, oh, you're going to go work for Metal Sales? Are you fucking crazy?
Yeah.
If your last name's not Mack, and you're going to have a big bullseye on your back. So call me in 3 years when things go south.
Look, I'll literally do outbound emails and just say, hey, did you get caught? Did you get caught in, what does it usually say? Something like, did you get caught in the, how you handling the changes at company X, wherever you're at?
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole email.
Yeah, you have to know, and that it's amazing how many people don't.
But even if you don't know, you just know certain companies suck, and you can put that out there, and they're going to call you back and tell you, "Oh my God, how'd you know about this already?" It's just.
So
I got to turn a job down after he accepted it with Metal Sales and go work for my client.
Yep.
Like, turned the job down. Accepted, had a start date with a recruiter. The recruiter was so mad, he called my boss and yelled at him because I got him to turn the job down because Metal Sales is such a shitty company.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got a lesson now, everybody. I'm going to look right in the camera. I've got a lesson I learned from these geniuses for 2024. My standard line should be, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Are you fucking kidding me? I got to be a little more blunt.
Listen, if you're a niche recruiter, you can't be a generalist. If you're a niche recruiter, you know your space. That's why you make the big money.
And we don't work for corporations, right? We work for ourselves, so we could act and say a lot of things that they can't say. I could ask, how much are you making? Are you married? Do you have kids? Right? Like, I could ask those questions. I'm not supposed to, but who's going to fire me? Right? You're going to sue me? You're going to get blood from a rock? Go ahead. I don't care. Right? Like,
that's a really good point. So internally, I would never say that. I would never say the things that are coming out of y'all's mouths, but I use the information to inform who I call, who I source, who I try to grab because of what I know. So I don't say it explicitly to their faces, but it's how I know who to call.
Well, if you want for a data income, have you guys looked at Nebula? It's a cool little tool.
Mm-mm.
Well, are you talking about the one that everybody's using to raise money for their videos?
No, Nebula. Okay. If you call them up, you can use my name. You get a deal. I don't get anything for it, but it's the guy's a nice guy.
I'm a friend of Rich.
Nebula.io.
The Nebula. Let's see. It is Nebula.io. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yep.
But that will tell you the actual salary. They actually take W-2 income from the tax from the government. And based on the job, and it'll give you what the ranges, are based on those jobs.
Yeah, I did the demo on that. It's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's like everything else. It's early stage, but
he tried to keep saying that they had all the tax rolls from everyone, everywhere, yada yada. Yeah, so I had them do some searches, and they were all wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it depends because you got to narrow it down. How you focus it down, like. If you do a broad search, you're going to get broad answers. You get a narrow search, you're going to get the right answers for that stuff. But it's early. I mean, but it's like $99 a month now. I think it's going up to a couple $100 a month. But
it's not a bad idea.
No, it's a really cool AI search tool for sourcing. And for if you need to write a job description, if you need to write, just whittle your candidate stuff down. Then you can email from there and stuff. It's a pretty cool. It's a tool that's got massive potential.
Nebula.com?
.io.
No, .io.
.io. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why is there something else that's nebula.com? Because it's a common
Yeah,
word.
that was the one I thought he was talking about. That's the one that's it's like a way that to monetize your videos without using YouTube.
Oh, okay. Okay. Somebody was promoting raw video. The rawer, the better. And I said last week that Rich believes in that too. Just get on one take. Don't make it fancy. I don't believe in that personally, but I know Rich
I mean, look at
does.
this high budget show we've got on Google here. You know,
So, and I push back on him. You think it's best to send raw videos to clients or candidates? Like, I don't even know what that means.
you mean for me? I mean, I don't send. I mean, I'll send like I'll make a quick Loom video, and post on a LinkedIn or send it out to a hiring manager or a candidate, and just instead of me writing the email out, it's just a video basically.
This guy said, don't use Loom. Just don't. Let me just finish. No click.
Yeah.
Just put it right in the phone. No click-throughs. Record it on your phone. That's what he
pretty
said.
cool. Yeah, no, I can see that. It's actually
Click-throughs cause friction. Sorry, Tommy, you go ahead.
it's raw like W like raw or like raw like RAW.
No, raw. He's talking about sending an actual email embedded into a video embedded into the email, so you don't have to click a link.
Yeah.
Whereas with Loom, you have to click a link and it takes you elsewhere.
But was a raw video a site or just a terminology?
No. He's talking about a raw video, like drag and drop.
Yeah, but what are you using to record it?
Your phone.
Can't you do that with Loom? I don't even know. I thought you could.
No, but he said don't go on Loom.
I understand, but I think you could put it embedded. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, he's talking about like a JPEG. Not a JPEG. What is Google Meet save the videos in? Not JPEG.
Like
anyway.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah, so that's what he's talking about. Actual attaching a video to the email.
Yeah, I thought you could do that.
It's gonna be big. I mean, a 4K video with an iPhone, you can't text to people if it's more than 3 minutes because it's too big.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't.
I don't know how
It'll be long anyway.
You shouldn't send a 3 video a minute anyway. It should only be a minute anyway. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Donna, were you saying something?
No, I just said that'd be too long. I said the same thing Rich says, but he says it better and with more authority.
No, I think you'd do a good video, Donna. I think you would,
Okay.
especially if you sang. Donna's a beautiful singer. I got to tell you, I was really
AVI or MP4 or MP4.
Yeah.
That's how you would
MP4
send it.
more standard, I think. But does Heaven have anything to say about any of these topics, or too busy, judging people? Isn't that
Yeah, so what do you do? An MP4 video, and then you attach an MP4 to an email and say, "Hi, check this out. Hi, I'm Rich Rosen. I'm wonderful and great." Use my services. Is that the idea?
Okay.
Well, it depends. I mean, if I'm doing I'm just looking at if Loom does that. It's either pitching a candidate or just say, hey, listen, heard you had an opportunity. You're looking for XYZ. Listen, I've been doing this for 27 years, yada, yada, yada. And, give me a ring. I'll follow up tomorrow, basically.
Did anybody in the world ever hear that term yada, yada before it was on Seinfeld? I never
Seinfeld.
I never heard it.
No idea.
I've heard
I can't tell you. I mean, Mandela effect says yes, but who knows?
Mandela?
Yeah, the Mandela. You know what the Mandela effect is? I don't want to get off on a tangent, but Kit Kat used to have a dash in between it. Chick-fil-A didn't have a K. Bernstein Bears was spelled differently.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's things that we all believe to be true, and we all collectively believe it, but they're not.
Yeah,
okay.
I thought it was
yada,
Smokey the Bear. It's not Smokey the Bear. It's Smokey Bear.
But yada yada was around before Seinfeld, but it just brought it into the mainstream. But people said it.
Yes, it was only for hip people because I never heard of it. Okay, way up here, north of the 49th parallel. Okay, okay. But I just want to add 2 more things. Tommy Tuna, a friend of the show, he said, "Yeah, you know what? If they give a high salary, I might ask Mr. Super Candidate to jump on the reality train if their expectations are too high." I like that. Get on the reality train, Billy. Okay. Get out of outer space. You're not in the right place. Come on. Okay. And this other guy, Chad, says, if you're asking for more money than we're offering, and I suspect you're taking a moonshot, okay, you better believe I'm going to try to talk you back down to earth. Okay. That's what we do. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to help you if you actually want the job. So you can actually fit that kind of script. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to help you. You want the job? Come back to
nowadays, But nowadays, you always just tell them, hey, listen, you don't want to be the highest paid guy in the company because you're going to be the first guy fired in the company, especially in this current market. So, I mean, do you want the job? Do you want longevity? Do you want to
Are you
earn?
kidding? You've actually said that? You don't want to be the highest paid
Yeah.
person in the
I say it
company?
all the time, because I'm like, I'll make sure you're not the lowest, and I'll make sure you're not the highest. And smart
Has
people,
anyone ever heard that as a pitch before? I'm
I
shocked.
haven't said that, but what a lot of the younger candidates I work with, when they want too much, it's a warning to them of how hard they're going to be pushed and what they're going to have to do and what level they'll have to perform at to make sure they're not cut, because
Yeah.
they don't understand that. Like, you have to earn that.
Well, and then for sales guys too, usually your quota is going to be 4x your on target. If your OTs, if your earnings, your 150 base, 300, on target, your quota is going to be 1.2. But now this guy's like, oh, I need, 180. Well, that's great. You got to have this. Your deal sizes are still the same, but you're going to have to get up to whatever that is to hit your
quota is 1.7 now or whatever. Yeah.
And now you got to have that much harder to get to the accelerators. You do the math. You want a lower quota, not a higher quota. Get the accelerator.
Okay, Rich. Okay, I expect to be the best producer in the company, so I hope I am. I should
So
be the
therefore,
highest
even
paid.
better. Fine. You want to be the best producer, then you should want the lowest quota. I'm like,
I
listen,
want no base. I want a draw.
listen,
I want a draw.
I've been on zero. I always tell them, listen, I took a pay cut. I went from a salary to $0 and straight commission, and I've made $1 million a year 1,000 times. I'm like, so if you're so good, take the lower quota. I'm like, I tell them, listen, I'll make less money by you making less money on the base, and I'm okay with it because it's better for you.
That's a great close. That's a great close.
Thank you.
By the way, yada yada is a Yiddish word. Lenny Bruce used it, and it was in the dictionary since 1996.
Yes,
Lenny Bruce died in 1966. Okay,
He's a chutzpah.
okay.
There you go. Hey, and then you know what? For those MP3 converters, there's a bunch of them out there you can get for free. To take a Loom video, convert
MP4.
it. Yeah, well, but whatever, and to convert it to MP4.
MP3 would be sound only.
iPods. But yeah, there's a bunch of them. I just downloaded because I'm going to do that.
You can get just on AppSumo. I've bought 3 or 4 different downloaders from there, and I think Juice, and there's a couple. The best one is not there anymore. Okay, snapdownloader.com. But there's 2 other very good ones. Okay, if anybody wants to hear about them, $20 American.
Yeah, which ones?
Pardon me?
Which ones?
Okay, let me just get you the name. Vid Juice, VID Juice, I think is still there. And one that only works on YouTube is Yeet, YEET.
Vid Juice, you need to.
Yeah. Okay, the Yeet is only for YouTube, but these other ones have like
all in one video downloader and converter.
Okay, Snap Downloader, I think it's 40 for a lifetime. Snap download, and you can download stuff and convert it from all over. Okay, hold on a second. Here, Richie, Rich actually commented on this, so I know what he's going to say. Here's a cold call tip from a sales coach. Don't worry. I like this. Don't worry about your opening line. Just use something that feels natural. Richie agreed, right?
Do not say hi, how are you?
Well, that whole this is a cold call, and I don't know. I don't feel comfortable saying that stupid stuff, but some people.
Okay. So if Mario was here and he says, "This is a terrible cold call, but just give me 30 seconds of your time," you would tell him he's wrong. Okay, and even though he worships you, he would still go his own way. Is that right,
Hey,
Rich?
Rich, this is Tom. You and I never spoke before. I know you're busy. I'll be brief.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it doesn't matter what you say, as long as you get the conversation going. And it's an animal, like, yeah, my cold calls aren't great. My openers aren't great, but I just power through them and they work. It doesn't matter what you say. There's a percentage of time where, yeah, you're going to, if you don't say the right words, you're not getting through. You could have saved some of them. There's a percentage of times where it doesn't matter what you said, you're not getting through. The guy's just hanging up no matter what. So, I mean,
that's it, Rich. That's it right there. Nothing works every time, and it's a numbers game until your skills get good, and then it's still a little bit of a numbers game so you can use your skills. That's it.
But it's literally everyone keeps trying to find, here's the perfect email, here's the perfect opener, here's the perfect this. It doesn't exist. It absolutely does not exist.
There are things you don't do, right? In my opinion, like do never ask them how they're doing because you immediately sound like a telemarketer, right? Don't put in the email certain things because you sound like an idiot, right? There are certain things you don't do, but what do you do? That it's trial and error and which works best for you, and it doesn't work. It never works every time.
Yeah, I mean, like for me,
Nichols rebuttals do not work every time. They're great, but
No.
there are people that just you can't recruit them. I don't care how good you are.
Yeah, I mean, like I usually just say, hey, listen, it's Rich Rosen, just following up on my email, and they're going to say, what email? I'm like, oh, well, okay, there we go.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah, like, thanks for the easy opener. I'm like, all right.
I'm going to show I've got some cognitive dissonance. Do you know what that means? Well, there's two contradictory ideas in my mind. Okay, Richie Rich says, he says it all the time. I'm not a good cold caller. But he tells somebody, listen, I make $1 million a year. Yeah.
But listen, it's I don't believe anything. It's like Tom said, nothing you do works every time. So you know what? You're always reinventing.
I try to tell that to people all the time. Like I can give you all the tips you want, but and I sound great when I'm trying to tell you how to do it, but it doesn't work every time. I get doors slammed in my face. I get hung up on all the names.
I said the same thing. Listen, at the end of the day, I know so many recruiters that are more articulate than I am. They're probably way smarter than I am, but none of them work as hard as I do and bang out as much as I do because they don't put the effort in. And that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I'm the first one to admit I don't work half as hard as Rich because I don't want to.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I'm lucky that I can work half as hard as Rich and make the kind of money I do. But there are so many people out there that are always looking for a shortcut and they're not willing to do the time and do what it needs to do to become what Rich and I have become.
Okay. Now, Tommy also notes, though, about himself that nothing anyone ever says to him will bother him, right? You've said that about yourself before. So not everybody's like that, okay?
That's a big piece of it. And that's what I like my own kids. My baby boy is thinking about going into recruiting. And that's the one thing I keep telling him, like, thick skin, buddy. You can't care. You can't care how people are going to treat you and how many times they're going to hang up on you. And,
short-term memory, whatever, great. Don't
rejection therapy.
Yeah, I always just keep telling yourself, listen, I probably make more money than every dope I talk to that's a pissant. So what do I care? My life doesn't. Their yes or no is not really affecting me.
Yeah, he canceled his $1 million a year donation to Harvard. Okay,
how much failure this job has, they don't ever understand it. I try to tell people all the time, I can do what you can do. I can handle rejection. I'm like, dude, we fail.
Almost all day.
Of the time.
Like
99% of the time. I'm failing 99% of the time. A sales guy who fails 99% of the time at a car dealership would lose his mind. Right? I don't care what you're selling. When you're failing that much, it's so frustrating to so many people, and they don't get it till they get into this.
This is really,
I can't. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you guys. I have a handful of clients because I just deal with sales leaders, and I have a handful of clients who actually understand how hard this job is. I mean, but most people do not have a clue how difficult this job is. They all think it's a piece of cake. You just walk in and throw a resume over the fence. Someone gets hired. You make a pile of cash.
And a database in the sky of all these guys that want to come work for you.
And they're just waiting for me to call them, just say hi. Today's the best day.
Hold on a second. Hold on. My connection's unstable. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Rich, have you ever
Yes.
had a client call you and say, I got a client for you, and they're talking about a candidate?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You got to remind them, they don't pay me.
Yeah, their cousin.
Yeah.
I got a new client for you. I'm thinking, I got a job order. It's some candidate.
Yeah, people call me, and it's never anybody I want to work with.
But
Donna, I want to get something straight. I can understand people throwing the phone down on these two guys, maybe. Okay, they're fun to talk to, but who knows? But someone who's as charming as you, okay? Do you
imagine?
When you sing some Christmas carols,
People, people are okay. Now that I'm internal, no. But when I was agency, all the time, people would be mean, and I had some people who would call me back on purpose just to tell me off. So,
I love those people. I love them.
I do too. But I think I told this story before. One of my best clients became a guy that was a complete jackass to me the first call. And he was I don't know if Donna ever heard, but he was like,
I thought it was some other best friend who became a jackass. Tell us this story before.
This was that was you. You were the first jackass. Now, this guy, he even came to work for me for a little while. This guy, he's passed away now. This guy, Rich Walensky, though, but he was so obnoxious the first call. He was such a douchebag. You know, I called him like right before Thanksgiving, like 6 months later, just to fuck around because I'm like slow and I'm like, whatever, might as well have a little fun, practice some things out. And he ended up having this great conversation. I even told him on that call, I'm like, honestly, I'm like, Rich, I called you back because you were such an asshole. I just wanted to fuck around. I mean, I literally, this guy probably paid me, I would guess, close to $1 million in commissions there on after.
Amazing.
He even came to work for me for a little while till he passed away. But
Well,
he was
what? Why did he say you were an asshole? What did you tell him? Your company's shit.
he was the
Never
asshole.
send a candidate there. I mean,
No, he was because he was just such a prick about it. Like he was just like, you know, I forget the original conversation. I just remember he was such a douche. I can probably have it in my notes actually, but he was just such a prick about everything, just a condescending, you know, just total douche to recruiters. And you see, in this case, like,
so always go back. Is that the lesson there? Always follow up, even with the jerks you encounter.
People have bad days sometimes. You should follow up. And honestly, a lot of people, they don't mean to. You just caught them at the wrong time, you know? So it never hurts. And sometimes you remind them that they'll actually apologize and they're not going to forget you. They'll actually appreciate it. And if the guy really is that big of a douche, then who cares? You know?
Okay. I got a question for Donna though. Why you said that they were mean to you when you were calling from an agency, but now that you're internal, how do they know you're calling the phone? How do they know the difference?
Oh, because I identify myself by my company, and it's not a big company, but it's a small, you know, network. So even if they don't know our company, when I tell them, you know, what I'm doing, it's a different credibility level because I have in their minds, you know, I have more power. When you're an agency recruiter, it's just different, you know, it's a different way that you're perceived in my little world.
But in most worlds, I mean, agency recruiters are like the scum on the bottom of the shoes, you know, where, you know, internal is the scum on the bottom of the internal shoes, you know.
There you go.
I mean,
I can handle that.
Yeah, like the CEOs don't care. Like none of your, it sucks because people don't understand how important internal and external recruiters can be to a company if they use them wisely to gain all the information, all the street level data we all have. And these companies just think you're just a dumb sales guy. And it's too bad because I mean, salespeople in general are looked upon wrongly because there's so many idiots in sales. It's the problem. But that top like 15% that actually are good at recruiting, sales, you know, they have a world of information, a wealth of information to give to people. And
my company does recognize that. Thankfully, they recognize that and they appreciate that, and I feel very thankful for that.
Yeah,
but you know, that's really a revelation. Remember, we have had these debates here, heated debates over you know, is it harder to work for a big brand or remember with Amy and
I mean, I love Amy, but she's crazy. There's no way in hell recruiting for Microsoft and Google and Amazon is harder than an agency recruiter.
Well, she says she's got just as much competition, maybe on the closing end. But what Donna's saying is on the opening end, it's a lot. If they recognize that you're with a company, even if they don't know the company, it's going to be a door opener.
I've been received differently, and it doesn't matter if I'm calling someone, if I'm LinkedIning, messaging, whatever. I'm received differently. I'm responded to differently.
Yeah, because you're part of the company. But I see it both ways too, because a lot of people, they treat internal recruiters like dirt. Like I always, when I have candidates that have to interview with the internal recruiters, I tell them every time, you treat that internal recruiter like internal recruiter like you know, like you the smartest, most prettiest person in the world. You know, because there's tons of candidates treat internal recruiters even worse than external too, because they just think you're just a box checker, and I check all the boxes, so why wouldn't you put me through? You know,
yeah, I haven't had that so far. So far, so good.
I mean, it's in general, people don't treat recruiters well in just as a general statement. But I always find Amy's thing about the fan companies is laughable, that it's harder. I'm like, I'm pretty sure like 9 out of 10 people want to go work for Microsoft, then they want to go work for, you know, Joe Unknown company.
Okay, but she said, you know, she got a point with the closing. We're talking about the door opening here. It's different. She said her candidates all have multiple offers, and we don't have that. Tommy says he's never got it. Almost
but I'm in
never.
tech.
Not never, but
like I'm in tech. All my candidates, even in this market, have 3 offers. In this horrible market, everyone still has 3 offers. All right. I mean, so you know, the end of the day is you got what you got. Like she's got, you know, she's got one company to sell. That's the difference. You know, where can have multiple, but there's not a chance in hell I find it harder to attract people to a company. She'll have way more candidates to go through than I do any day of the week.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I think I for the first time I think in over a year, I placed a candidate for a 20 grand fee that applied to a job. I never ever place candidates who apply. I never get them. This guy it was an anomaly. It was insane.
Oh yeah,
He was
60%
a
of
perfect
her
fit.
placements are from applications.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
He's always defending the job, the people who put open for work on LinkedIn, the green circle.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry the show wasn't a shot of caffeine for poor little Tommy Alascio at Palermo Roads, but for me it was. I thought this was a great closer. I had a lot of fun.
I always have fun. Just because I'm not jumping up and down doesn't mean I'm not having fun.
I am honored to be able to have these guys come to the show on a regular basis. It's so much fun for me. Richie Rich, America's recruiter.
Oh, the new vote's out. Don't forget to vote. The new votes for Forbes is out.
Okay, well, we'll start doing
I saw that. Yep.
later. Okay,
Yeah.
The contest takes 3 months. Okay?
Oh my God. And 47 emails. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so there's Richie Rich Rosen, Palermo Roads, Tommy Alascio. You could see it right there. Tommy with the TH. I hate that. Okay. Donna Terrell, Donna. Okay. And I can't remember the name of her company, and she doesn't want me to mention it anyway. David M Marr up in heaven. Put in a good word for us. Okay.
There you go.
Game over the holidays.
Bye.
Ciao, guys.
See ya.
Bye.